This meeting is being recorded.
And you can start, and I'll give you the right to share screen.
Perfect, thank you. So just while that's happening, I'll just kind of introduce myself. So my name's Jenny and I'm from thisislanguage.com. So we are, for those of you that don't know us, we are an online MFL resources platform. So we are really kind of centered all around the use of authentic language material and content to really inspire students and also ultimately save you guys as teachers time as well. We were actually set up 10, 11 years ago now, it would have been, by languages teachers who really kind of were getting frustrated that, you know, they were spending a lot of their own spare time trying to create resources and material, and something that would also equally be motivating to students. So that is kind of where thisislanguage.com was born. I know that some of you in the CESA group already use us, and Valerie in particular obviously invited me to this call this evening to kind of give you a bit of a flavour for what it is that we do, particularly around the area of listening content. So what I plan to do is share my screen. I'll give you a short sort of demo of the listening area of our site. If anyone wants to go into a bit more detail, you know, we can always arrange a follow-up, or if you're watching this as a recording, then equally please feel free to get in touch with us and we can kind of set you up with a trial so that you can access the site and see, you know, have a play around with it for yourself. Right, let me just try and share my screen. Okay, have I done that? Let me know if you can see that okay. Yeah, perfect. I'm seeing some nods. Thank you. So this, I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to just really focus for the purposes of today on the listening area. There is an awful lot more content on the site, but I'm just going to keep it very kind of top line. So our listening videos on thisislanguage.com are really, as I mentioned, we really focus on kind of authentic material. We don't script any of our videos. We go out and literally ask native speakers a question and we film their responses. We try to record young speakers to really inspire students and kind of be something that they can, you know, relate to essentially. When it comes to finding something that's going to be relevant for your lesson or your class, we have a couple of things that can help you. So the first thing to show here is that all of our content is broken down by exam board. So for example, you know, let's say you're following the International Baccalaureate within your school, you can click straight into that and find something that is going to be relevant. So as an example here, I will just click through a couple of these themes and topics and we'll get to a question that we can have a little look at. So you can see here, you then ultimately get to a list when you're exploring a certain topic, and it will tell you, you know, how many videos are within each of these questions. So I'll just go into the first one as an example. I'm in French obviously here for the purposes of the demo, which you can see, but we do have access to Spanish, German and Italian on the site as well. We will be launching Mandarin. I don't know if any of your schools teach Mandarin, but just in case that's of interest to you as well, that will be coming later this year. So when you have then got to this kind of level where you're at the question, you can see there are lots of different responses to that same question. Usually there's about 10. And these vary in their level of difficulty. So you can see, you know, we have a difficulty rating underneath each video, all the way from 1 up to 5 stars. And that rating really enables you to set a similar piece of work, but be able to differentiate according to the ability of the groups of students that you're teaching. So we hear a lot from teachers that, you know, they're finding it difficult to differentiate content and material based on the different types of ability they might have within their classes, and so this is something that can be really helpful for that. The difficulty rating of the video is based on things like, you know, the speed at which the person is speaking, or if they use any particular grammar structures, then it will automatically become a harder rated video, for example. The other thing just to note here is the flag, the little flag you can see, and in this case actually they're all French, but this shows you the nationality of the speaker in the video. So we do have a bit of variety, particularly actually if you're in the Spanish language, we've got some South American speakers, and again that is just something that is really kind of broadening the horizons of the students and showing them kind of more of that sort of cultural aspect as well. I will just click into one of these to show you. So there we go. So what you've got here is you've got the video that you can play. This one's quite short, it's just over 20 seconds. And we also have the transcript available alongside every video as well. We feel really passionately that students being able to see the written language at the same time as hearing those sounds is really, really important. So we have the video that you can play. And we also have a little snail kind of slow down function. So again, this is something that can be really useful if you're working with different ability groups and you want to be able to let certain students actually slow the speech down a little bit. And you can actually kind of toggle that on depending on your class or your group. So again, something that's really helpful, hopefully for you. Teachers use this in different ways. So if you have your students logging in as well, so this is language, then there are a series of automatically marked exercises, interactive exercises that they can complete. And I'll show you those in a second. That is really kind of the way that we feel the students should be using the site, because it's going to give them the best opportunity to interact with the material. If the students don't have their own account, or if, for example, you're using it in a classroom setting and the students don't have access to a device potentially, then there is a worksheet alternative that can be printed out and used as well. But I will show you quickly the types of kind of listening activities, just so you get a bit of a feel for the exercises that are available. So these are scaffolded, they get progressively harder as the student goes through them. The first is simply a drag drop. So we've taken, certain words out of the transcript, and the students are listening to the transcript, listening to the video, and dragging and dropping those words in as they go. So if I just put these all in completely randomly as an example, what it will then do once the student has completed that, it will also correct it straight away for them or mark it straight away. So if I click on submit, it will show you straight away, what have you got right, wrong, and then it will give you the opportunity to kind of correct that as well to really reinforce that learning. So that's our kind of entry level exercise. We then move on to really focusing on learning the specific bits of vocab that we've taken out of the video. So if I click through here, it will show you first of all the pieces of vocab that we want to focus on. So in this example, there's 8. And it's basically teaching the students this vocab through a series of flashcards. So as you can hear, hopefully the sound is coming across okay. There will be a verbal cue and also a visual cue to that piece of vocab.
Le matin.
And then essentially the student just clicks through these. When they are ready and want to kind of test themselves, they can click on Start Learning, and then they are tested here. So they're able to type in the words in the target language. You've obviously got the character keys down here if you need any of those accents, and again it's automatically marked, so if I get something wrong, it's going to automatically correct that, give you that verbal cue again before you can move on, and then it will ask you straight away to type that in so that it knows kind of that you're progressing essentially. So then it will obviously mark that as correct. So you'll just go through those 8 bits of vocab essentially in learning those. The third exercise is slightly more challenging. So this is where the students are filling in the gaps themselves. So in this example, let me just pause that video. So here, obviously, you can see there's no drag and drop. The students are typing in their words. They're in their inflected form often as well. So it is that step on in terms of challenge versus the jigsaw drag and drop that you saw at the beginning. So that's the gap fill one. And then comprehension. This is our kind of sort of tying everything up exercise. So the students potentially might have been able to replicate the language in the first 3 exercises, but this is really testing their understanding of what the speaker is talking about. So you can see here, it's multiple choice questions, and it's simply testing their understanding of the transcript. These can either be written in English or in the target language, depending on what suits your school as well. So there's options there that you can do something that fits you. The nice thing about all of these exercises is that you can set them really, really easily for your classes. So what I tend to advise teachers to do is set up kind of ability groups as opposed to classes. So within one class, let's say you might have a lower ability group and a higher ability group, that will enable you to set slightly differentiated work for those groups. But once you have done that, you would just click assign an exercise, and it's so simple. Essentially, it will ask you which exercises you want to set, and also which class or group you want to set that for. So it will give you a rough indication of the time that those exercises will take, and then you can select, you know, from your list of classes or groups that you've set there as well. You can put a deadline on it if you want to, but you don't have to. And then once you've done that, the students, when they log into the site, will have a list of their assignments that they need to complete at any one point. So it makes it really, really easy for them, and also makes it really easy for you to track progress, because at any point you can kind of go into your specific classes and see, okay, what work or assignments have I set? How many students have completed them? Of those that have completed them, what sort of marks they're getting, all that kind of thing. So there's a lot of you know, data available so that you can be constantly reviewing progress with the students as well. One other thing I will just quickly show you in terms of listening videos, because this is something that we've actually launched in the last few months. We have got a group of videos on here, if I just go back one step, which are kind of tailored more towards younger year groups. So we've called them our Key Stage 3 compilations. Now, while they are designed for younger year groups, there is nothing to say that they can't be used with older year groups, or again, potentially lower ability students. The way that the videos are done is a little bit different. So I'll just give you an example. If I click into, let's go into Friends. So again, I'll just choose one as an example. Whereas before we had one speaker that was speaking for maybe 20 to 40 seconds, here we've got 4 different speakers, and they're each giving a really short answer. If I show you the transcript, you'll see what I mean. So I'll just play it actually as well, because essentially there's 4 speakers and every speaker is then repeated twice. So
je reste en contact avec mes amis par téléphone et par internet.
So you have a really short answer, as I said, and then that speaker will be repeated again straight away. Je reste en contact avec mes amis par. And then you have obviously the other 3 speakers as well. So it's a slightly more kind of entry level type listening video that might be, as I said, might be for lower ability groups or might be for younger students. And again, there are exercises associated with that. We have just the jigsaw, which was the drag and drop, and also the comprehension, which is the multiple choice question. So that in a nutshell is the listening videos. What I would love to do is just invite anyone that is on the call at the moment to ask any questions. If there are no questions, I don't know if you want to just comment at all on kind of how you use the sites or anything like that, and we can kind of go from there. There's no questions. I must have explained it very well.
Valerie, maybe you can share how your school is using it. I have not seen this resource.
Yes, I can totally. Thank you, Jenny. Yeah. So my school, I actually asked my school to take the membership because I was using it in a previous school. So I've been using This Is Language for many, many years now. And I was really so happy, you know, with it, and that I asked my current school 3 years ago to actually take the membership. So the way I use it is really what Jenny has described, is that I use it for homework. So on homework tasks. So I use it with my DP students. In my current school, I use it with DP students. And it's really good because I can also differentiate, as Jenny was saying, between standard level students and higher level students, because the level of the videos are really differentiated. So it's really, really helpful. So, and as you can see, we are an IB school, and you can find IB related topics now, which is really excellent. This is really topics that we cover within our curriculum. And I assigned videos, and I assigned specific task exercises that I want my students to do. Usually we focus on the gap filling because it's the most difficult, especially for higher level. So I ask them to do that. What I also do in class, I also use it in class. So I play the video for everybody in class, and I print out the document, the gap fill, for instance, and we all do it together as a whole group. Which works well also. Sometimes we have mini competitions, so we try to how many words can you get on the first time we listen to the video or things like that. And so that's basically how, for now, that's how I use it the most, as a homework, but also during lessons, and my students they really like it. Actually, you know that, so they have their login. And actually, the interesting part is that I asked some of my students to do presentations on some topics during our classes. And I asked them to choose a video on some topics. And I've recently found out that they used This Is Language to search for a video and to present to the class. So I was actually really pleased that they used the website that they know already, because it's very, it shows that they found really that tool very useful. It's not related to listening task, but I have also used, there's plenty of other resources, I have to say, to mention that are very useful. They have videos on grammar that I have used in my previous school when I was teaching MYP. The videos, particularly on object pronouns, are actually fun and interactive videos that I really enjoy, and very nice with younger students. So yeah, it's to teach grammar, and it's a very good. And also you can assign those videos, specific videos on grammar. You can also assign them for homework. So I really, really find that tool very, very useful. And it's so, as Jenny was saying at the beginning, I used to spend hours and hours to find the appropriate listening task and listening even for assessments. I would spend hours trying to find, but this is too fast and this is not the right level. And now we have everything with those videos. It's really helpful. Yeah.
Oh, that's so lovely to hear. That's really nice. And thank you for mentioning, some of the other areas of the site as well. Obviously, I just kind of focused on listening for the purposes of this meeting, but for anyone that's on the call or watching the recording, as I said earlier, if you want to have access for a couple of weeks just to try it out with your classes or your department, then please feel free to get in touch, because I can set that up for you, and you can just have a bit of a browse in your own time and see if you feel like it's something that's going to fit your department. So that offer is available.
Could you put maybe your email in the chat?
Yes, I will do that now.
We use the same way as actually Valerie at our school, and so it is just a wealth of resources that is very helpful for students to independently review. I really think it's a wonderful tool for that, to just say, here, go there, and you find everything you need.
Oh, that's really nice to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, we so Delinka and I, we're in the same school, so we subscribe to. We work with Rosie. If you know Rosie.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so we use it, and we like the fact that it's leveled, so the students can, we can set the task, and it's really nice for us to be able to show them, okay, you see, so many people have completed the task and others have not, and so we can see their progression. And I always advise the students to. I always set several tasks over a week period, for example, and I will say, well, you got that many days, and I advise you to practice a little bit every day. And some do, and some don't. And then, of course, if they don't, then the work accumulates, and then that means that I can really focus my attention on, on those particular students and help them get organized like this. It means that they need help with time management, and so it really helps me analyze and understand how students work and study, and so in that way that's very helpful. Another way that the videos are really helpful is they provide models for our students to produce their own. So I ask them to watch a particular video, and I say, well, I want you, now you are the one on the This Is Language website, you're going to take a video, and you've got to sound like him, like that person, and you've got to give the same type of information, record yourself, and then we can watch it together as a class, and then we can assess their videos, and then we can create, similar resources. Now with ChatGPT, we can create similar resources very swiftly and promptly, and it's so yes, the videos are really, really helpful. Yeah.
Oh, great. That's a really good idea. I like that one. Getting them to do, pretending they're on the website next. That's good.
Yes, exactly.
Also,
brilliant.
what's nice is that some students just really will do all kinds of things on it, because they have access, and basically the motivated student will be working on their own.
Yes.
And they're
Yeah.
not so motivated, will see that nothing is done, and will have to really help those.
Yes. Yeah. No, there's lots of kind of data available that you can, drill really down into even individual students and find out, what have they been doing? When have they last been on the site? How long have they been spending on the site? All that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's all there and available as well. Well, I hope that's been useful in terms of a quick whistle-stop tour. But as I said, please, get in touch. I've popped my email in the chat for anyone that is watching the recording. Maybe you can just get in touch with Valerie, or equally just visit our website, thisislanguage.com. And if you pop a trial request in, then that will come to me anyway. So I'll be able to get in contact with you that way.
Well, thank you so much, Jenny, for coming and presenting to us. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I don't know what the rest of your agenda is looking like.